What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the Stay Locked In podcast. If you somehow stumbled upon this video, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and notification button down below for more content. I got a crazy goal of about 10,000 subscribers. If you can help me manifest my goal into a reality, I would really appreciate it. With that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get right into this video. Let's go ahead and lock the in. All right, so boom. All right, let's get right into this video. The 2024 NBA champions, Boston Celtics, man. Shout out to them. Congratulations to the Boston Celtics. Total team effort. They took an L the last game. You know, they got blew out, but they came back strong. And shout out to the coaching staff making the proper adjustments and all of that stuff too. It was pretty much, they dominated the entire game. Some of the things that stuck out to me the most were, you know, not even the game itself, but you know, some of the things that like was going on behind the scenes. You know what I mean? The sounds of the game. You know, from Jaylen Brown talking about, you know, he's preaching discipline and, you know, discipline, fellas, you know, staying focused. You know, from him taking on a challenge with Luka, talking about he wasn't going to give him the ball. Yeah, those are the things that show the insight to that championship mindset. You know, they was focused. I think even Al Horford was kind of barking on his teammates. I can't even say barking, but you know, he was rallying his guys and, you know, motivating his guys on the bench, especially being a veteran that he is. In the third quarter, they was up 20 points. So it was like a no let up mentality. Job is not done until it's done mentality, man. I think that was dope, and I think that was the story of the game. You know, I'm truly happy for dudes like Al Horford. You know, I remember Al Horford when he was on the Hawks, 2008 with Joe Johnson, ISO Joe, Josh Smith, Mike Bibby. I think even Jeff Teague, you know, came in later. But yeah, man, I remember those playoff battles against the Celtics. Ironically, now he's on the Celtics winning the championship. I think he just turned 38. So shout out to Al Horford, man. I love to see dudes like that who've been grinding for years and years, stuck with it, and he finally got his championship, man. It's so dope to see. So shout out to Al Horford, man. Drew Holiday, I think his stock has just went up tremendously. He seems to be the glue guy on a championship team, somebody that's going to do everything. You know what I mean? There was so many things in this game that don't show up on a stat sheet, but showed up, you know, in the win. You know what I mean? There was so many things. It was like effort, heart, will, leadership, sacrifice, team chemistry, all of that stuff played a part in this. Things, like I said, that don't show up on the stat sheet. I think that was the story of the game. We seen the hustle plays from Derek White, blocking, Derek Lively, I think it was, diving on the floor, getting his tooth chipped. You know what I mean? All of the offensive boards, the second chance points that Drew Holiday provided. You know, it was a matter of who wants it more. I mean, I kind of knew the game was over when Pritchard hit that damn half-court shot. That was crazy. So they just got, you know, contributions from everybody, man. You know, even the dude Sam Hauser came in and hit a couple of threes. It was just a total team effort, you know what I mean? I think this was a true story, a true success story, especially Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You know what I mean? You gotta feel before you succeed, and I think it's dope to see. And I think it's an inspiration to a lot of people, especially out there in Boston, of course, but just in general, man. We seen Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown lose to the Golden State Warriors a couple of years ago. For them to just, you know, stick with it and persevere. So shout out to them, man. You know, I killed Jason Tatum in my previous video. So I got to give him his just due. Listen, man, he played his ass off, and he was doing things that didn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet as well. So shout out to him. You know, he had a phenomenal game, 31 points, 11 assists, 8 rebounds. You can't ask more out of somebody. You know, I think he was the final game MVP, but not the finals MVP, if that makes any sense. He was obviously the best player on the floor in Game 5. Incredible performance. And I think we all knew he can score the ball. We all know that. But him facilitating and getting his teammates involved and doing the dirty work and grabbing boards and all of that stuff, that's what I think takes Jason Tatum to the next stratosphere. And that's the Tatum that I think I was quote unquote criticizing in my previous video. That's a Jason Tatum that I would like to see, that we all used to seeing, on a night-to-night, game-to-game basis. I know it's hard to do, especially with somebody as talented as Jaylen Brown on your team. But listen, I gotta give him his props, bro. He showed up when it counted most, which was that final game when they needed him to be that Jason Tatum that we all know him to be. So shout out to him. The humility in it all, accepting Jaylen Brown with the finals MVP. That's another thing, shout out to Jaylen Brown, accepting the finals MVP, and also shouting out Jason Tatum. The first thing out of his mouth was Jason Tatum. So I think that kind of speaks to the camaraderie and the chemistry that Boston Celtics team has. So, it's incredible to have not one but two superstars who are extremely humble and are willing to sacrifice for the betterment and greater good of the team. So, man, I think, and they still young. Jason Tatum, I think they just said turned 26. I know that, there's people online talking about the reporters, talking about he's not 19 anymore. But listen, man, 26 is young as hell. So, the sky's the limit for them dudes. They have the potential to be a dynasty. I think Giannis will have something to say about that next year. But, the potential is there, and then, with all of these teams and, with the entire team, like Hauser and Pritchard and all of them dudes, they still young too, so they have time to develop. That's another thing, man. I think Brad Stevens is the unsung hero in this. That dude, I thought he was going to be a phenomenal coach when he got hired by the Celtics. I thought he had a chance to be the next Pat Riley, but shit, he's proving it right now, up in the box office and making the decisions that is going to bring the Celtics to that next level, and obviously paid off with a championship. So shout out to that whole organization, man. I think Brad Stevens is a great GM and coach for that matter. Shout out to Joe Mazzulla too as well. One of the youngest coaches to do it, and he proved to be a championship coach as well, especially with all of that stuff with Ime Udoka. Excuse me. I think the Celtics have a chance to really capitalize on this and really maximize their potential. I know they just became the all-time leading championship team with 18 surpassing the Lakers. That's a tough pill to swallow, man, for them dudes, man. But as for the Dallas Mavericks, I think the moment was just too bright for them. Kyrie didn't show up the way that we know Kyrie to play. He had a decent game, but he wasn't cooking the way he normally cooks. Luka was being Luka, man. It's gonna be tough to stop that dude, man. And I think, listen, man, the Dallas Mavericks are gonna be back. They got a good core. PJ Washington, Lively, all of them dudes. Great coaching, Jason Kidd. They're gonna be back. And every year Luka seems to take another step. So shout out to them, man. It's hard to stop Luka and Jaylen Brown taking the challenge on to really slow him down, and for him to not be getting 70 and 50 and all that crap, crazy. So I think, and I don't think they played Tim Hardaway Jr. enough, man. I think he came in the series and showed you what he did the last game, and I think they missed the opportunity to really utilize him the way that because I think he's a starter. I think he's a starting 2 guard, elsewhere in the NBA. But him coming off of the bench, for him to provide that spark, I don't think they really gave him the right opportunity like he should have. But it's a learning experience. We've seen that the Celtics learn from their past mistakes and all of that stuff. So it's yet to be seen what they're going to do in the future. But once again, man, I'm happy for the Celtics. Congratulations to them. Only person I'm not really happy for is Kristaps Porzingis, man. The hell with Kristaps Porzingis. He left my Knicks, and it hurts kind of to see him get a championship. But all jokes aside, man, I'm happy for all them dudes, Porzingis included, with him being injured and everything like that. And he was the X factor in Game 1. So for him to even be out there on the floor and being injured, like I said, speaks to the sacrifice that the Boston Celtics made in order to win that championship. I don't know where the hell they go from here. They obviously gonna get better. Drew Holiday, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how this is gonna play out with all of these free agents, especially like Paul George. Where's he gonna go? There's talks about him going to Philly. So we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. Milwaukee, getting healthy with Dame and Giannis. That I think that was the main contender in the East. So we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be an interesting year, especially off season with the draft and everything like that. But listen, I want to thank all of you guys for watching. I truly appreciate it. And with that being said, I hope everybody out there stays focused, stays prosperous, and stays locked in.